I don't know how I could have possibly gotten a better introduction. Thank you, Sam. This is a treat. I am the official redheaded stepchild of this cast of billions, and I'm really excited to be here. This is lovely. By the way, I am actually a native of Marin County, so it's really fun to be here reading. I will start with the poem that Stephanie just glossed so expertly for me, and yes, you're right, God biology is a force in absolutely everything I do. I tend to inhabit sort of the intersection between natural history and softcore porn, and work for Ovid. I figured, what the heck. I'm going to try not to strain my minutes here too badly, but I'm going to read two other poems. One is a little bit on the longer side, but it's very aerodynamic. And the other one I'm reading in honor of the fact that the luminous Robert Haas is sitting in front of me. And this poem is actually a riff on one of his masterpieces. But I will start with Sunflower. Irrational you may be in the way that mathematicians mean it, but you're all about efficiencies, optimizations. From apex to primordia, you spiral into control, girasole, you flower of the golden mean, the gyre, the twist, the curve. Triumph of coincidence, master of packing density, attentiveness to detail, and all this from a flower no one planted, arisen from last year's spillage from the birdhouse, 2,000 seeds for the one that engendered you. Weary of time? I think not. Object lesson for adepts of the trigonometries of Fibonacci, you are time, a living sundial, tireless tracker of the light's trajectory. You know, you flaming thing, you august standard bearer for the skies in their last and greatest clarity before the cloudy season. You know there is nothing random in the way a space is filled. Nothing ever doesn't make sense. We can do the math. Each thing will always be the sum of things that came before it. Write this message in the borders of the garden. Phi, the symbol of the mean you mean, the disc atop the slim stalk. Yes, and phi, by the way, on any and all, who call you weary of time, who'd wrongly reify those bending rays, that reverent chin-to-chest kowtow. You know of immortal gravity, sun worshipper, you Pythia of pith and oil, you oracle of harmony, order, and reason. Of course you bow to it. Thank you. I have a collection of entirely botanically themed poems that sort of modern riff on the ancient Theme Materia Medica, kind of going from Pliny the Elder down to Culpeper, but mine are somewhat dirtier and a little bit more obscure. But this one, this is my Blackberry entry, and I'm of course reading it in honor of Bob Hass's masterpiece, Meditation at Lagunitas, which takes its this poem takes its epigraph from. I, in fact, have jokingly referred to this poem as Cogitation at Point Reyes Station, but anyway, the epigraph from that poem is just this one line: longing, we say, because desire is full of endless distances. This is Blackberry. Isn't this how it always is? The great tangle, the big yes but, the sheer ampleness of things, and how there's always a catch. Here is the world's elaborate fruitfulness thrown forth at such a dizzy pace. It seems you could be buried alive in it. It's like time-lapse photography photography or the temporal distortions of a dream, and the way the arching canes hold up their idiot abundance side by side with those recurved, flexed thorns. There's no free lunch, even on this long, dust-moated trail where deer and tribes of tule elk might ruminate on how it always is, with acceptance, with grieving, with surprise. The trail is lined with brambles. There's a vast thicket, and yes, it speaks for everything the trail is. All the crazy plenitude, all the untraversable, unclosable distances. And the berries burgeon there, and this is what the poets love, the way there is no good way to distinguish, at first glance, the bead of juice from where the berry burst in your grasp, and the bead of blood welling from the tiny puncture wound. The air is scented with the leaves of bay and coyote bush. This trail only ends because the ocean stops it. That's fun. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up with something. It's in 5 parts, so it's a little long, but it is aerodynamic. I was researching something. Like I said, I'm an unreconstructed natural history nerd, and I was hyper-texting trying to find something, and I ended up stumbling on this article about these birds that are local to the Bay Area, and you've probably all seen them whether you noticed it or not. They're called Arenatus saxatilis, or white-throated swifts. They are large, gregarious flocks of birds. They're little, look like swallows, but they're kind of this Art Deco black and white, very beautiful. And what the article was about was these strange social behaviors that have been observed in this particular species of swift, that nobody really understood what those behaviors were about or what they were up to, but that they were very consistent in every flock of them that they encountered. So this is my treatise on the behavior of white-throated swifts. I believe there's an intermission after this. So after that, I will be introducing the lovely Brenda Hillman, but for now, this is, these are the actually ornithologically given names for these behaviors, and I just thought they're so funny, you have to do something with it. Anyway, this is behaviors of white-throated swifts. 1, chase without contact. Sure, you can call me fast if it makes you feel better. Say it as if it were a bad thing, as if it weren't part of the attraction. It's all right. Thrill and insult live cheek by jowl in this field. No ill will, no hard feelings. In these urban canyons, relentless gray, even a black and white bird stands out as a slash of color. And the color is speed, is swiftness. You can call me what you like. Look at the dashing figure I cut across these rooftops. Call me metonymic, mimic me. Call me mimetic, call me trouble. Call me what you call what's just beyond your reach. Your fleet wings each beat. Keep calling across the shrilling sky. I'm willing to listen. Call me fast. Never stop calling. Follow me. We are born for this, all supple, all subtle, supremely responsive, rising into mist, into a metaphysics only we can understand, alas, alacrity, but how can you miss me if I never go away? 2, screaming party. Odd birds. Nobody knows precisely why we do these things. We only know that there are impulses and there are rules. We fly in flocks, big ones, 1,000 sometimes. Air made solid, air made feathered, air made noise, made boisterous laughter. Slowing down is not an option. Yet, one certainly enjoys this fractal billowing, the social knot. One's lifted up by kinship. Foraging alone is not enough. A critical mass of aeronauts, of extroverts. We sing badly, but with exuberance, a brass ensemble with one mind and infinite voices. The sky is vast. We speak for it. 3. Chase with contact. Think fast. Think speed, think elegant acceleration, think ascension, think celerity, think feathered bullet sent from somewhere into somewhere. Who's content to settle, to give love unearned? Don't blink or you might miss me. Oh, I'm fast, all right. You think you got me, think again. Think no rest for the wicked. This could be a fight for primacy or flirtation, might be both. In either case, though, we both know we're thinking the same thing. The nape, the aerial tumble, and the rush of air our lives are. There's a predetermined shape to it. Now I'm yours, now I escape. It isn't you, it's me. It's us. Not fair, but there it is. No one can fly entwined for long. We are committed to our speed. We move fast and think faster. Never mind what doesn't matter. Think about it. Find yourself in seeking me. Find what you need. 4. Courtship fall. The slowest thing we ever do is fall. The terminal velocity we're sentenced to, the pure celestial celerity, means everything, sex, sleep, must happen on wing. How likably alike we are. How elegantly limbed, the sailplane wing, the bright white bar flashing, the deftly slimmed cylinder of the breast, cigar volant, all engineered for far-fetched speeds. They say if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything, but we who land seldom, not at all if we can help it, comprehend things differently. What's at the end of 500 vertical feet? Not just the ground. Abandoning volition is a kind of trust we're built for. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. Forget the world. Fall. Forget flight. Fall. This is passion, ecstasy, absorption. We're beside ourselves. Axis, mirror, the bliss of parity, the wide sky falling ever upward. We are one bird, one identity. But earth impends. It always does. Part of the thrill to know that we must separate. It was, dear mate, great, if not slow, still thrilling, quick, a trick of tantra or arithmetic. This is the last one, silent dread. The funny thing is, the collective squawk, the adult flapping, all the loopiest maneuvers we perform seem for the world like mass hysteria. We are a shock of noise, a panic button of unfurled flight feathers. In this state, who'd see the jest hawk's shadow cutting closer? Who would know real danger from imagined? We're swifts, so named because we travel at such speeds we've been pared down to meet only the needs of motion. In the dusk, we dine on drifts of aerial plankton. We're equipped to go so long without a roost, our legs and feet dwindle to an afterthought. Perhaps it's an adaptive impulse, then, that makes us feel this rash, unbidden urge to beat a group retreat. The light shifts and fakes us out. And there's silence, then, a lapse in vocalizing that is still a sort of subtle speech. It is as if we've all had the same thought at once. At once the chatter ceases, a rush of panic, and we scatter and reconvene elsewhere without one call to set the spot. Perhaps the sharp report of silence never correlates with real peril. Call it irrational, a rush to judgment. But admit you felt it too. Words dying in your throat, a sudden hush, a silent dread. We sense and we construe collectively. We are the things we feel. Thank you.